What is different about the 60-second cut versus the 45 versus the 30 versus the 10? How do they maintain the story, and what shots are expendable to make this a 45?
If you look at something and you approve it and it's not good, it's because you just haven't seen enough stuff. I will not even watch your video
If the color is whack. Yeah.
Straight up, like that's usually how it goes,
It's
right?
so true.
People don't want to be the first one to test you out,
Yeah.
to test $100,000 project on you. The cool thing is, if we made that $5,000 project feel like $50,000, some other client's going to be like, oh, you guys have done a $50,000 project before? That one. After years of building Tenfold production, working on $100,000 plus campaigns, and working with big brands like Nike on Shopify and more, we have figured out the one thing that is holding filmmakers back from getting to that next level, and that is branding. Without proper branding, you will never be able to raise your rates, to work with the right brands and have people trust you. And ultimately, you're just going to be lost forever doing projects that you don't care about because you just don't have a direction or a path. And so today we're going to show you the 5 pillars of branding and how to do it as a filmmaker to actually raise your rates, to give you the confidence to get to that next level. And we're going to show you exactly how we did this so you can save those steps as well. And as always, we're back with Juanjo and myself. We are the hosts of the Unfold podcast, where we talk about filmmaking and everything filmmaking related, specifically commercials today. So let's talk about branding and what that means for filmmakers.
Let's get right into it.
So this is pillar 1 of rebranding yourself as a filmmaker. And that's going to be finding your filmmaking clarity. So
give me some more clarity on what clarity means.
Triple clarity.
I feel like most people have clarity on what they want to be doing, right?
Yeah. So a lot of people think clarity is, I want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
It kind of leans on the concept of specializing, but a little bit more in a different context.
Okay.
So in this case, clarity, when we speak to our students about finding clarity, it's about finding your North Star. So what is it actually that you want to do? And not just saying, I want to make films, but why, right? It's the bigger question of going deeper into having a purpose and having a reason for doing what you're doing. When I first started, I just said, I want to do some filmmaking, and I called it a day. And I let the world just kind of pull me along, much like anyone else, right? You start filmmaking, you have a camera, and you start getting work. And the work isn't necessarily the thing that you love, right? I think when you're like a YouTube filmmaker, like I was, you go online and you just go like, okay, I have the camera, but now what do I do? Yeah. And most of the people that you're going to find are be like, hey, if you want to make quick money, shoot real estate videos or shoot corporate videos. Recaps are so easy. Weddings, right? And okay, but is that really the thing that got you into filmmaking? The excitement, the feeling of like actually wanting to shoot, and pick up a camera. That storytelling approach is probably something that sometimes the thing that brings you in, and then you are no longer doing this. Yeah. And so you end up doing this for years, potentially, just doing whatever. And the longer you do it, the further that original dream feels, and it gets further and further. And we forget that there was a reason why we started this. And so I always start with this, because once you have a good foundation for yourself, it makes it a lot easier to make any future decisions.
Well, what about for the people who are like, maybe they don't have clarity on what they want to do because the whole thing that they want to do is like, they don't really care. They just want to make money off shooting whatever.
I think deep down, that's not true. Yeah. I think deep down, that ends up being a justification for things you have to tell yourself to keep yourself going. Because I think that was what I was doing before too. It's like, oh, I love barbershop videos. I'm going to be the best I can in this space right now. Yeah. And that was just a big lie to myself to make sure that I can keep doing this. It's almost like I was tricking myself, right? And over time, it just burns you out because there's so much like cognitive dissonance of like, I'm doing this thing, but deep down, I know this isn't meant for me. And so that really put it was like a mental burnout for myself to be like, why am I doing this though? And this is where you start to see a lot of filmmakers get to very quickly. Because every year, if you're just doing this over and over again, and then you feel like you're never moving closer to the thing that you really wanted to do, whatever that might be, we can even talk a little bit deeper on that. It's just so mentally draining.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people will look at this and have this misconception. I know I certainly did when I was beginning, that progress means doing more.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even considering like that $10,000, $25,000, $100,000 jobs. Like that's like so far away that I'm like, if I can do like 3, 4, 5, $500 jobs in a month, then I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, this means I'm getting better and my business is growing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that might not be the case under this definition of clarity.
Yeah. So oftentimes when you don't know what is possible out there, you're just looking in the wrong places, and you just settle
Yeah.
because you don't know how to get to that next place yet, right? And a lot of people tell you, like, just do spec work, whatever. But you know, I know it's a difference when you're in the middle of the grind. You're in the middle of 2 projects that both suck, and you're not getting what you need out of it, both financially and kind of like physically through the like learning cool things. But then you also don't get the satisfaction of doing something cool that you are proud of.
Totally.
You're just like, oh, I'm just doing stuff. No one wants to be doing stuff forever, because what happens is, even if you spend 30 minutes thinking to yourself, like, what does this look like in 3 to 5 years? I just remember being in that position,
Yeah.
and being like, oh my God, I'm going to be chasing $300 projects for the rest of my life. I might as well become a barber because these guys are making way more money
These
than I am.
guys seem like they got a good thing going on.
I kind of know how to barber now, as you know, watching enough videos.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So a lot of people are sitting at home, not in a bad way, but they're just in a position that was something that naturally came to them.
Yeah.
It's not like maybe some people wished they were like wedding filmmakers. That's awesome. You kind of already had your North Star beforehand, right? And oftentimes the work that you do also informs you on what kind of direction you want to go into.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know your passion yet, right? Especially when you're beginning in filmmaking. It really is just a game of, I need to do more stuff. I need to explore and try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So then you could later down narrow as you get better. Because it's cool, because like the better you get, the better you are at executing at whatever that thing is you're doing. And say you, for example, you get really good at wedding filmmaking. If by the 20th one, you start to realize like, wait, I actually love this, and I don't want to try that other stuff. Like, I've already tried commercial filmmaking, and I keep coming back to this because without the money, and this is kind of where the big question is for your North Star, is like, what would you want to do continually, even if you didn't, like, if you weren't paid for it?
Okay.
That's the bigger question.
So for someone who doesn't know what their North Star is,
Yeah.
and is just comfortably, uncomfortably, whatever the situation might be,
Yeah.
they're just doing gigs,
Yeah.
right? They're taking the jobs as they come, no matter who it is, no matter what the client is.
Yeah.
For those people, what is the first step for them into finding what their North Star is?
Yeah. So the first thing is, you are likely, say you're a full-time freelancer,
Yeah.
you still got to do what you're doing, right? You still got to make money, and you still got to keep building those skills up in the beginning, say your first year, for example. The bigger thing is to look at what it is that you always gravitate back to in terms of the stuff that you follow and look at. I know when I was first starting, the work I was doing was barbershop videos.
Yeah.
But the stuff I was watching was like Lululemon commercials and things that were outside of my original scope of work. Because I was like, I'm aspiring. Like I'm an aspiring filmmaker. Much like everyone is always an aspiring filmmaker. You don't just look at your own work over and over again. That's super narcissistic. You know, it's like, what is cool out there that, oh man, like that car commercial or that, that fashion film, like that stuff is super exciting for me. And every time I watch something similar to that, like I'm pinpointing back to that world. And then you start to find patterns in that. Like if the last 20 things you watch are all fashion films and you're currently doing real estate videos, like it's pretty clear, obvious of like, I want to give that a shot. And sometimes you give it a shot and it's not the perfect thing yet, but at least you know directionally, whatever you're currently doing, I know I'm trying to get there. So all this stuff almost gets put into the back burner in your mind of like, cool, I know I'm doing this. You can't get away from it right now. But how do I start to build towards something that I care about, that I'm proud of, that is actually sustainable, because that's like the biggest misconception is like, I'm just gonna do work forever. It's like, no. You're gonna burn out in a year max, right?
Yeah.
And if one of the two things don't work out, if you're not closer to your passions or you're not closer to making more money, that's like the double combo. You're gonna lose on both sides, right?
Yeah. It is kind of like a feedback loop. The less you enjoy doing this job, the worse work you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get paid as much.
Yeah.
And that leads to burnout very, very quickly.
Yeah. It's a very quick downward spiral.
Yeah.
And I would want people to have an upward spiral. And typically all that takes is like forward momentum in getting closer to the thing that you want to do. Even if it's not the best thing, at least you're getting a little bit closer, and then you're spending time with yourself being like, what is it that I like?
Yeah.
Because I'll use a perfect example for yourself. Like when you were first starting, a lot of the work you were doing was what kind of work?
I was doing a lot of like running content, just a lot of recap work for just random like events or corporate stuff here and there.
Now, before we even had conversations, right? Think about like nothing we've talked about. When you first started and picked up a camera, and obviously you went to school for this too, what was the original concept? What did you want to do?
See, that's so tough. I feel like so many people go into school, film schools, to kind of find that answer. And I kind of came out of school knowing like this is a very difficult industry to be in, and commercials are very lucrative. So it's just a matter of chasing where the money is, right? And I think that was like the biggest mistake I made when I was first starting, is chasing the money instead of being more intentional with what my purpose is in the industry. Because if you just chase the money, that's what happened to me. I was chasing one job after the other, wondering why my rates weren't going up. And you burn out very, very fast. You just keep putting more and more effort, and you think, oh, if I just try harder, if I show up more, then this client that's paying me $500 is going to give me like $600 next time, maybe. Yeah. Cross your fingers. And it never happens, right?
And then at one point, how long did it take you to get pseudo burnt out?
I think I was going pretty strong for about 2 years. I know for like the first year, I was like a lot of just figuring stuff out. Yeah. And then by my second year, I was working a part-time job at a photo studio. But then at the same time, I was running a production company. And it was just either I was working, even while I was like at work, sometimes I would be like working on edits and stuff like that, or just like going super ham, grinding out these recap videos and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you feel like there was no exit?
See, for me, I was like, the exit is just more of the same thing, which doesn't make sense, right? But I feel like that is a trap that a lot of people fall into. Yeah. It's just
that, like, eventually just keep getting bigger.
Yeah, it's like if you're chasing the money, the whole idea is more money will lead to the exit.
Yeah.
But
and you do the math.
More chasing is just more of a hole that you dig yourself into. At least like not financially, but like.
But yeah, even financially, you burn yourself into a hole too, because you're like, this is not enough money. Yeah. And then you just start to worry about the same things. You're like, how many of these recaps can happen?
Mm-hmm. How many events are actually happening that I can, that my physical body can be at?
Yeah, because after the first 2 events, the first one you're probably still like cool. Yeah. Second one you're like a little less cool. Yeah. And then by the 4th and 5th one you're like, I'm here again. Yeah. And so everyone under the sun that has gone this path has pretty much gone through the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it's a question of like, why did you join and start doing like running and recaps? Like,
it's just the matter of the opportunities. Yeah. Right. It's, again, when you chase the money, it leads you to a very specific place. And like you said, once you start doing one thing a lot, people just kind of start associating you with this thing. So I'll do one running recap and then meet a bunch of runners there.
We found you.
Yeah. And then another group of people will be like, yo, we're doing this. This relay run. Like, you should pull up to it and we'll give you $500. I'm like, say less.
You're the running recap guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is the whole thing with like, I used to be the barber guy. Yeah. And I used to have barbers reach out to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, guys, I swear I'm a commercial filmmaker.
Where are you all coming from?
Yeah. And then Zach was like the car guy, because that was kind of the stuff that he was doing back then, right? Yeah. And so, this is the whole thing with clarity. There's a very big difference between what you're doing and what is clear in your mind, right? Because if you lose track of what that clarity is, you kind of just waver forever and you just hope for it, but you're not making any like intentional decisions to get closer to that place.
For sure.
So that's number one. That's one of the first of the 5 pillars that's really going to be able to help you rebrand is sit down over the weekend, whenever you watch this, and remove everything that you're currently doing, right? And just sit down with like a notepad or something physical for yourself and spend time with yourself. What have you done in your past? What are the things that you enjoy? What are your hobbies? All these different little things.
Mm-hmm.
Spend time in understanding like, okay, there's a difference between what I do as a job and what I actually care about.
Yeah.
And the closer you get to that, it just makes life easier because then you can start making decisions on, hey, this isn't really aligned with my North Star or my clarity on like who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to do this more? Right. And so it gives you a framework to either say yes or no to. And instead of just taking on everything, now you at least you have almost like a filter to make sure that, okay, if I'm going to take this on, it has to either hit my portfolio or move me closer to where I'm trying to get to, or it just pays me, right? But then at least you have these decisions in mind and you don't feel bad. Just like, you don't surprise yourself.
Yeah, you're not just blindly wandering around.
Yeah, you don't end up doing another job and you're like, if it's a money job in the beginning, you're like, I told myself I'm okay with this being a money job.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised when it's not moving your career forward because it's just not meant for that.
Okay, so let's say the people at home watching this, they sit down, they figure out exactly what they want to do. Like, this is exactly the direction I want to head. I have clarity now.
Yeah.
Once you get this clarity, what do you do? What's the second step?
Yeah, this is a big one. We hear this a lot, and it's something that you always end up building, but that is elevating your taste.
Mm-hmm.
And as a filmmaker, when you are too singular and you don't know how the commercial space works or references works or how to elevate your taste, you kind of just end up making the same thing over and over and over again.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. And so even for, let's just say on a recap level, shooting these running recaps, if you're just comparing your next recap to your last recap, being like, I'm just going to do that again. That was fire.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're just going to have 20 versions of that by the end of the next 2 years.
That's exactly what happened. And I was like, by like the 5th or 6th one, I was like, I don't know how many more of these I can do. It's going to be like the same exact thing.
Yeah. And people are just like, are you just remaking the same video?
Yeah.
Probably because you are.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
Your only reference is your own work.
Yeah. That's a bad place to be at.
Yeah.
And then second step up from that, that's not great, is when you're only taking in the people that you follow. Mm-hmm. Right? Like almost like your inner circle of other people that you follow locally that do the similar type of work. For example, like you get into the recap world. Mm-hmm. What happens on your Instagram is that you start just getting a lot more other people's recaps.
Yep.
And then you just start following those people and their recaps. And now you're just in recap hell.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that's a sick gimbal spin. I gotta figure that out.
And so like I'm gonna add that one gimbal spin to this next piece.
Yeah.
The problem in why this is all layering into each other is because we're going so deep into the technicals of a recap, but you're already at the wrong basis. Mm-hmm. You should already not be doing recaps, right? You already need to be working away from this. So the problem with like elevating your taste is it's not just looking at the type of work and the quality of work, it's looking at different genres and really exploring what is possible out there. Because if you're just inundated every day with like recap world stuff, you only think about recaps in your brain. Like that's the only, it's like when you go to sleep, you're like recap, you know, it's like you need to see what top filmmakers are doing. You got to see what other DPs are doing. Even if you're not a DP, what are these people doing? Like what are production companies focusing on right now? Trying to get a better sense of what is possible. So when you think too small and you only see the same 5 things over and over, you think you can't do more. Mm-hmm. You actually think you're like, I'm probably the best recap person I know.
Yeah.
That's a terrible place to be in. That's the whole thing of like, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, like go into a different room, it's because you don't want to be the best.
Yeah.
Especially as a recap person, right? It's like you want to make sure that as you're going through life and you're trying to expand your horizons as a filmmaker, is that you're always evolving, right? After your first recap, you should almost think that recap is awful. Right? Like I don't want to ever do that again. I'm just saying this in the recap sense.
Unless you really like it.
Unless you love recaps. Hey, if you love it and you were born for that, great. Because there's some people that just only focus on recaps, but their recap level is like commercial level in terms of like edits and stuff like that. And so I think there's just like a internal battle that you're gonna have when I wasn't built for recaps. Like I can do more in this. I can do commercials. I can do documentaries, whatever that is. And then when you get to elevating your taste, it's like, okay, now I know these things exist. I know commercials exist. I know documentaries exist. At what scale can I do this? Right? There's like multi-million-dollar documentaries, and then there's like $50 documentaries, right? Do you want to sit in this lower level, or do you want to start to achieve and like aspire to this higher level?
Yeah.
And these are like the basic steps to just like train your brain a little bit more to care more, right? And so even in the basic sense, typically in this phase of learn to be a better filmmaker and rebranding yourself is learning how to find better work, right? People just think go on Instagram, you'll just find random stuff that pops up.
Yeah.
But then if you don't know how the system works, if you don't even know what a director is, or you don't know how to find production companies, colorist houses, whatever this is, you just get stuck in your own little bubble.
Yeah.
And so you need to like practice, right? It's a constant game. There's always a new trend out, but there's also always new storytelling pieces out. Because you have your North Star now, you can start to build towards knowing all the better work in this genre that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you, over time, we had conversations.
Yep.
And in the beginning, we're like, okay, cool, pays you money, but deep down, like, what do you actually care about? And then we've had a bunch of conversations, but what do you care about?
You know, your boy loves soccer.
Yeah.
And music.
And music. And those are kind of been like the two grounding forces for you.
Yeah.
If you're a filmmaker who's technically skilled, but you're stuck doing the 1 to 2K jobs, you're not alone. And funny enough, that was me 5 years ago. I had gear, I had talent, I was grinding, but my career felt like it was moving in slow motion and I wasn't really getting anywhere. I didn't need another YouTube tutorial. I needed a system that I could follow. And that's why we built Cinematic Portfolio Mastery. This is a 8-week program to help filmmakers like you break out of the pricing plateau and build a spec project that finally gets you taken seriously. We give you the roadmap, the mentorship, and the community you've been missing, and something I really wish I had 5 years ago when I started doing this. So you can stop spinning your wheels and start getting paid like a real creative professional, because that's what we all want to do. If you're tired of being stuck in a creative loop, join the CPM waitlist in the link in the description below. And let's build the project that unlocks your next level.
Now, as we start to build more into like your career and your filmmaking, it's definitely going to start to lean towards things like soccer because you care about it. Mm-hmm. And with that, it comes a lot of unfair advantages. You go to games, you know people in the spaces, and then you also have access to them. But then you also have ideas. Like everything you've seen quality wise in that soccer realm / football realm is not the same as what I have. Mm-hmm. If you made me shoot, a soccer commercial, it wouldn't have the right feel. Or if it is, it's going to be completely different. And that's maybe interesting too. But the whole point is knowing that you want to move towards soccer gives you purpose, gives you energy as well. And then even if you are running recaps, deep down, like I'm still working towards something different. Mm-hmm. And now it gives you like, hey, let's work on something new here. Let's work on a project that gets me closer to that place.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's like
the steps?
So what would you say are some steps people can take to get to that level?
Yeah. So the easiest things you guys can do is just spend time expanding your horizon. Doesn't matter what market you're in, because filmmaking is a worldwide thing. There's always work everywhere. You guys have found us. We found people from Germany and Spain, whatever that is, that has work that speaks to me as well. Mm-hmm. And so there's two places that we typically go to. It's Instagram or Vimeo. And these are going to be the simplest places you go. Just explore there, watch videos, see what people are doing, save things, and just start to catalog for yourself, right? Yeah. Build this like Rolodex, this long list of things that you can come back to and be like, oh, how do I get closer to this? Yeah. How do I build towards this thing?
And I would also say be very critical on the things that you're watching, and don't just say, I like this.
Yeah.
Just because you think it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Like being cool is cool and all, but that's not a good enough answer for you as a creative.
Exactly.
You got to understand the reason why you think it's cool.
Yeah. So elevating taste is understanding why choices are made, especially by directors or even DPs, like visually, right? When we look at these projects, it's not just a matter of, like you said, saying, I like it, let me save it, never watch it again.
Yeah.
The best people in this space, they watch it and then they watch it again and then watch it again. And each different time, they're looking at something else. They're dissecting something else. And there's almost like a thing where you start to watch shows in a way where you're kind of ruining it for yourself because you start to like break things apart and try to like figure things out how it's done. And that's kind of a good thing when you get to that place because it means you care, right?
For sure.
And it means you're like trying to piece things together. And this is how filmmaking is. This is how filmmaking is done. It's a matter of piecing stuff together. So again, you go online, start to catalog, watch things over that really speak to you and resonate to you. And hopefully it aligns with your North Star. And then you just start to like really internalize things. Why is this scene shot like this? Why is this shot lit this way, right? Like why is the blocking like this? Like blocking just meaning like the movement of the camera plus the people, right? It's like all these little things are ways to teach you how to become a better filmmaker. Because in the past, if you're doing recaps, you just capture stuff. There's no intention to it, right? And so a lot of these processes we're doing, it's about intentionality, right? It's like, I'm going to intentionally sit here and figure out who I am. I'm going to intentionally sit here and research and be a student of filmmaking. And then that's the whole purpose of this. It's done in steps. It's done in stages. So you have a purpose and like a direction to move into. Yeah. Or else if you don't have that North Star, you're literally watching like fancy food commercials. Yeah. And you're like, cool, I'm going to save that forever. Yeah. Like you're never going to come back to that. And you're never going to do that. So why are you spending time and energy that could be spent somewhere else?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. So after all these steps are done and you have a good sense, or at least you're taking the right steps into being more critical about your taste, right? What should you do next? Yeah.
For us, it is direction and now making actual tangible steps for yourself to transform your brand. Okay. Right. And when we talk a little bit on the brand side, it's like, how do you reshape how people think about you? Brand, when we think about this in the most simple case, is when someone is talking about you outside of like in front of your face or whatever. Let me go back on that. So brand on the most simplest way we think about it is, what do people say about you when you're not there? Okay. Right. And so what do people think about Tenfold Production when they, someone brings up the name? What is the first association with that? Is it a production company that does filmmaking, that does education? Do they know us through, the work that we do? Is it more commercial? Right. And so you can think of like, if we say Tenfold, if you only know us through YouTube, then you're like, oh, that's the YouTube company that teaches us education.
That's the podcast.
On filmmaking. It's the podcast, right? It's the filmmakers. But if you only know us through the production side, you're like, oh, these guys are a production company that does like commercials only.
Oh, these guys are doing a podcast.
Yeah. So this is the whole point of like knowing the importance of branding also, is that everything you do optically, right? Whether you put out a story, your tone of voice, all these things add up to what your brand is, right? It's like this overall package. Does this person have a website? No website? Okay, cool. I don't know if these guys are legit then. Yeah. Right? That's part of your brand, right? What kind of work do they put out? How often are they putting stuff out, right? What is their brand voice? What type of work are they showcasing versus not showcasing? These are all choices that you make that are very intentional to drive eyes or future work to you. And so when we think about how branding works, when you were just doing running recaps, the association was, oh, Doghouse just does running stuff. Yeah. That's how we found you guys, because we're like, oh shoot, we have a running recap guy.
Running recap guy.
Yeah, that was us before, but now we can just hire you guys up for that, right? Yeah. And then for us, it's like in the beginning, a lot of our work was pretty scattered. We didn't really have like a plan or purpose on the stuff that we put out. Then also it kind of like snowballed and there's a lot more confusion. Yeah. And then as we started to care about our brand and how we were putting our work out there, all these different things, it started to solidify who we were, how we operated, all these different things that people get to associate with us, right? Yeah. In this case, if, the people that go through CPM and Cinematic Portfolio Mastery, the whole point is the transition phase, right? It's finding clarity in your transition. Because most people, they know for a long time, I am not meant to be doing wedding filmmaking. Like, I can take some of these skills, but I don't think they're the same thing. Like, Justin used to be a wedding filmmaker.
Yeah.
So he was doing a bunch of that stuff beforehand. Is it necessarily the style of work that he wants to do? Maybe not. But maybe there's some correlation or some overlap. A lot of wedding filmmaking is emotional storytelling.
Emotional documentary, almost.
You know, exactly. So I can see, especially in the style that he was shooting it in,
For sure.
it was always story driven first. How do I pull the emotions out? And then the B-roll is whatever. It's the same stuff for every wedding. But then his approach was like story first. And then naturally that just translated over. But there's a thing where like I never worked on weddings ever. I've never shot a single wedding. And my approach was always, how do I make this barbershop video look as sick as possible?
Yeah.
How do I find all the cool intricacies or edit styles that really resonate with me? And that was my choice and how I chose to brand myself with.
Yeah.
Right. And so this all goes back to the understanding of you need to make very intentional decisions now. Once you have expanded your taste and you know where your North Star is, you need to make a decision. Right. And typically for us, it's knowing that we need to make spec work to start to lead yourself into a new direction. And that's really the whole thing. It's like you've already laid yourself out with a great foundation, and now you have to prove it to the world, because no one's going to care about what your North Star is, or they're not going to care about your references that you have, because no one cares, right? Only person that really cares and matters for is you. And then ultimately, when you get into the phase of like, I need to prove this to the world, you just need to do it. There is no need to ask for permission. There's no need to do any of these other things. It's like, take all the skills you've built over the years of trying to find yourself and get a little bit closer to there, and then take all this and translate it over to this new space, right? And give yourself the chance to show up to the right people, because there's no way, and this never works, where you show a, this story-driven foundation or whatever it is, all your weddings, and be like, I can do what you need me to do. Give me a lot of money. Like there's just a disconnect there, and people just want proof that you're the right person for that.
I'll give you a little bit of money.
We can try it, but if it goes bad or it goes right, like you're already starting on a wrong foot.
Yeah.
But the flip side is you go out and you create a spec job, and then you're like, oh, this aligns with me. This aligns with the work that I'm trying to get into the future.
Yeah.
And when I show them the work that I've already proven, suddenly,
Like, oh, you've done it before.
you've done it before. This is great, amazing. Yeah. I can connect the two dots here that like you are the right person for this job. But if it's so far away in the wedding world, it's like, this is not even the right context. Everyone's wearing a white suit and stuff like that. Like I'm trying to like tell this story about kids. Like where is the connect here, right?
Yeah.
And so it is always the burden on you as the filmmaker to prove it.
Yeah.
Not for the other people and their clients to connect dots. And that's how I used to think before anyways. I'm like, how can they not see how me cutting hair here
equals $100,000
equals
campaign.
$100,000 project? I'm doing sick hair cutting shots here, but it means nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like ultimately it means nothing. I can sell more hair cutting stuff, and it made it very clear for other barbers, like, yo, you're the guy that's cutting all of these barbershop videos.
You're in demand.
I'm in demand, but I'm like, it's the worst place to be in.
Yeah.
It's just $200 videos at max,
Yeah. So give us some tips on how someone can improve their direction, and what do you mean exactly by direction in this context?
Yeah. So spec right now is the vehicle.
Okay.
It's what we use to start to reshape our brand. And we're going to put what we've learned now into building this spec. So when I talk about direction, it's understanding that there's different genres in filmmaking, right? You can be a short film person. You can be a feature film person. For me, it's like, I like to keep commercials in or within 90 seconds, like below 90 seconds.
Yeah.
But then for Justin, for example, he prefers something that's a little bit more story driven, that's longer past 90 seconds, maybe in that 2 minutes or whatever realm.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a different opinion here, right? It's all subjective. This is where filmmaking gets a little bit more fun. But your direction is always going to be different from mine. You watch a lot of soccer commercials. I don't watch any soccer commercials.
Yeah.
So you might look for something that's a little bit more 90 seconds, a little bit more snappy and fast, upbeat. Like, oh, cool. I'm starting to see a pattern within the stuff that I'm looking at, whether that's on Instagram or Vimeo. And this is the stuff that you need to make and take into account for your future of like, oh, this adds into my North Star. Like I'm getting a little bit closer in terms of the direction of work that I want to do. Because maybe you're only doing, 30-second recaps right now. But, for the spec project, maybe you're like, okay, maybe I actually enjoy 60 seconds of commercial work, and I'm not going to shoot it like this recap that I'm so used to, right? And now you can make real tangible steps towards creating something that matters to you, but also aligns with the style of work that you're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we did the whole thing about elevating taste. If you don't even know 60-second commercials exist, right? It's like, how are you going to know to even try that or try to attempt it, right?
Or even what that means.
Or even what that means.
Because there is like a good little exercise that you can do is when you see a commercial, oftentimes there will be like many different length cuts of it.
Yeah.
And it's good to like look at them and be like, what is different about the 60-second cut versus the 45 versus the 30 versus the 10? It's like how do they maintain the story, and what shots are expendable to make this a 45? Or what shots do you need to push it to a 60?
Yeah. Or did it get worse at a 45 versus the 60 or 90, right? And starting to understand this stuff is so valuable.
Yeah.
Because you start to realize the world is very vast in terms of what you can do. This is what keeps people stuck a lot of times, because there's too many options.
Yeah.
It's like infinite. You're like, oh, I can do this 60-second commercial, or I can do 10 seconds, or like, that's very different in terms of the way you think about projects.
For sure.
And then, is that something that you want to be doing long term? And so this is where directionality comes. Do you want to be doing this long term? Do you want to try a 60 right now? See how it makes you feel. Are you proud of the work? Does it make sense for you? And if not, maybe that 90 seconds or 2 minutes is actually something that you're like, you know what, that I need to build a story. I'm someone that's like story driven. This leads into a big fear that people have, and also a huge misconception is that they look at whatever genre they're looking at and they're like, there's no money in that. And then there's like, I'm not going to explore it. And this is something that we used to do in the past too.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of almost like branded docs in the beginning around people's stories, and at the scale we were doing it at, it just never brought in money. It was like $1,000, $2,000 max or whatever. It was way more work. And then deep down, it was great. I love telling stories like that. That's awesome. And it like really resonated with me and Justin when we were doing that type of work. And then at a certain time, we just realized like, it's not landing jobs. And so I made this blanket assumption that this genre will never pay. And then years down the line, after working through a bunch of different projects and like still dabbling in that space a bit, we landed a very similar job as the ones we used to do back in the day, those branded docs, but it was paying us like $70K for the campaign or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, so the assumption was wrong. Like, we just made this thing a long time ago, like, oh, we're not going to do that anymore because it's a waste of our time. It's not going to bring us in more money. And it felt so black and white. But the thing we learned over time is that there's an industry for everything. You just have to be very good at it.
Yeah.
You just have to be the top 5 in, not even top 5, that's pretty small, but like the top 50 in your local area to get work in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, top 50 seems so hard. It's like, that's why we do all these other things, right? That's why we elevate our taste so we can get to that level. So we have a purpose. So we're trying new things. So we're not just stagnating at every level. It's like, try to actually be good. Like, sometimes I'm pretty harsh with some of the way I talk to our students and stuff, because I'm like, you just got to be good and like try and like not be afraid to fail on these projects to get there.
That's a huge thing, yeah.
Because it's like, if you just assume that first try is the last try, you're like, okay, this is not gonna work. It's like, try it 10 more times. Get really good at this, right? Like, you definitely learn something from this first one. You just can't quit right now, because then that just leaves you with nothing. It's that classic like digging for the mine thing, right? Like, everyone's seen this meme. It's like a guy on the top, he's like digging for a mine, and then he's turned around and it's like, if he dug a little bit more, he would have hit the gold. And the person at the bottom is just like, they dug the whole way through and like they get all the gold now. And really the whole idea here is just like, if you quit too early, especially if you know, like, you have to be so adamant on like, I know where I'm going. I know it's there. I just got to keep doing it. And like the guy on the bottom of the mine, like, he just locked in. He just knew, I need to get there. I know there's gold there, right? It's just like, you have to be very, you have to trust yourself in that you can get to a place where you can outdo the people around you. You just have to be determined enough and trust that this is the right path.
You gotta have faith in yourself.
Yeah. But there's also, I'm sure, a lot of people like but what if I'm picking the wrong direction?
Mm.
And I'm just doubling and tripling down on this.
You gotta go back to like the 2-minute mark of this video.
Yeah, like there's a purpose in rhyme and reason, right? You're not doing it for the wrong reason, which is money.
Yeah.
Money is always going to show up. That's kind of the cool thing about filmmaking. Like if you're just good at what you do and you care, there's always opportunities to make money in the space.
There's a lot of money in this industry.
But then you can make money in dentistry.
That's
Or
also
you can
true.
make money in like, oh, I only film warehouses or whatever. Super crazy example.
Yeah.
But if you're just the best warehouse guy and you love warehouses,
The
cool.
warehouses will come begging
The
for
money
you.
will come, right? That's just the game. If I just stuck to barbering forever, I could. Some industries are also not great, but like
Yeah.
you have, if you love barbering at such a high scale, there's definitely ways to make money in that space, irregardless.
Yeah.
It just becomes a strategy thing, right? And so you just gotta know deep down. Spend more time. Spend like the whole week figuring out who you are every day. Just like
Yeah, that will be more valuable than any
it's
job
always
that
more
you're
valuable.
doing right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a note on what you were saying earlier. It's like keep digging, but like don't do it blindly. Like have a strategy. And every time you go down to the mine for another dig, yeah, like think about like what you did last time and the things that went wrong and how you can improve.
Yeah.
And that's how you actually hit the gold.
Exactly. This is a perfect segue, which is debriefing, right? You have to debrief with yourself, debrief with the other people that you're working with, and then just like thinking about it a little more holistically, right? Like full picture. Is this helping me? What did I like about this?
Yeah.
If I did that barber stuff, right? It's like, I know I liked the image. It's almost like this commercial image I was trying to build. Is it the right subject? No. And so there's obviously right away, I figured out there's something wrong with what I'm doing.
Once I started to take everything before the shoot a lot more seriously, that's when I started getting hired. That's why I created the pre-production playbook. And this is the system that I built to help you do exactly that. It shows you how to plan, pitch, and prep like a DP who's ready for 10K plus work. No more winging it, no more hoping your instincts will save you. If you're tired of being overlooked, click the link in the description below, grab the playbook, and start leading like a professional director of photography and getting the work that you always dreamed of.
Okay, cool. So let's stick with this, trying to make a cool image, change it over to a different industry. So maybe it's running. Okay, running recaps. Not a fan of the how monotonous it is.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like the whole process of like, oh, I'm just cutting people's faces running through and stuff like that. It's like, okay, now the next step for that was like, after I debriefed that, I'm like, okay, so the shots are boring. Let me do another recap and then elevate the shots. And then I'm like, cool, this video is much cooler now. But then I still hate the monotony of it. So you just start to eliminate stuff as you're going.
Yeah.
And so this is the whole process, right? It's like we continue getting better on the skills wise, because I realized like I like this style of shooting. I like these types of lenses, focal length wise. I like these types of transitions. Cool. Those are things I learned during my phase of like recap work. And then we started getting more like storytelling stuff, right? Because we were starting to do more specs in that world and testing that space out. And then it was just like a constant reiteration. It's like, oh, this is a cool new opportunity. It pays like $10,000. Awesome. I still don't love it. You know what I mean? Like it pays better. I'm still operating and pulling my new skills into this.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is about, it's like a soccer combo thing. It's close, but it's not all the way there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I needed to get to a place where I was like doing all this cool commercial work into running. And then when I did like one of my first real specs in that space, like, wait, I liked the experience. I like the storytelling. I like the shots. I like the movement in it. I think I can like, this is starting to make more sense. Like I like general movement, right? Like that's kind of grew up into like more of a sports space. And this is where I started to like reverse engineer a bit of like, wait, I think my North Star does live in this like faster kind of like health driven movement space. And then I realized like, there's nothing like making me feel bad about it. Right. And so I just like, this is the space for now. Let's try more of this to confirm it, whether I like it or not. And then if not, you just keep making these micro decisions to like get slightly closer every time.
Yeah. Keep debriefing.
Think deeper. Get paid, dig deeper.
99% of gamblers quit before they hit big.
That's crazy work.
Okay, so you figure out your direction.
Yeah.
Right. What's next?
Yeah. So the next thing is execution. So this is where a lot of things can fall apart. And so let me go a little bit deeper onto this.
Yeah.
I always say filmmaking on the story side is a huge portion of this, right? Making sure you've elevated your taste, you know how to actually build a good story. And then you move into a place where you're like, I got to go shoot it now.
Yeah.
Being able to shoot it is your first line of defense, right? This is like your first test for yourself.
Okay.
It's not even the final boss. This is literally like stage one. You need to be able to shoot what it is that you've created in your mind and sold to your team or client, whatever that is. Can you shoot what you promised? So if you don't have these skills, then you have to practice, obviously, right? This is through technical specs, all these little things, right? Test out and make sure that you know what you're doing so you can execute, because the level of execution is huge, right? Next, you move into the world of, taking that and what you shot and moving it into an edit.
Yeah.
Let me clean that up. Secondly is taking what you've shot now and moving it into an edit. And this is where things can also fall apart, right? At any of these one stages, right? If you fall apart on it, your whole project's dead.
Yes.
It does not bring the value that you need to get to that next level.
For
And this is the problem with a lot of spec projects, right? A lot of spec projects that I watch, the concept is already screwed up. And so there's nothing you can save down the line. There's nothing good enough on the color, sound, shooting that will make it good. And so you have to care first about the story foundation, which hopefully is driven from everything else we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
Right? Like your foundation, your taste, your direction that you want to go into. And so when you do the spec, you do it this stage, and you got to make sure the story's good. Say your story's good, and then you butcher the shooting. Very obviously,
You're cooked.
You're cooked. There's nothing you could do here.
Yeah.
You could probably try to salvage something, but then it's just never going to be as good as really executing and making sure every stage is good.
Yes.
I've seen some really good stuff now that has been shot well, but the edit, and this happens to us all the time. Like you have to go through multiple edits, and it's so easy for the edit to just completely go off the rails and not encapsulate the feeling and the story that you shot on set. The worst thing you could do sometimes is like you know what you shot, and you're looking at the edit, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, this is so off bases. I'm sure everyone's gone through this, right?
For sure.
And it just goes to show, like, if you don't care about every stage of filmmaking, it can just tear you down, because what happens is you spent the last 8 weeks or 6 weeks prepping for the shoot.
Yeah.
You crushed it. And now it's just, what is that? What is this edit? It looks awful. It doesn't even give you the feeling of what you're going for, because that could happen in the pacing, the approach, the transitions, the sound, the color, like all these little things, right? Sound and color will come to later, but all it takes is bad pacing and a bad edit to take anything good and just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And so it really is about knowing and understanding what is good on an edit, and this is the whole part of like elevating your taste. If you've seen 5,000 commercials intimately, and intimately being like you've watched it at least like 2-3 times each, it's not going to happen overnight, because that's impossible. You're not watching at 300x speed on a commercial. Yeah, just like Neo Matrix, like import everything into my brain.
I know how to do karate now.
Yeah. It's really like you're going to be watching a few every day and being like, okay, you're subconsciously taking notes, right? But in our case, it's really about being like, you're thinking about it like an editor.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like you have to change your mindset every single time. And then you have to follow your gut instincts for a lot of this stuff. Right. And I know I can give you guys more like, intimate ways in how we approach this. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you look at something and you approve it and it's not good, it's because you just haven't seen enough stuff. Because you'll quickly be like, this is too slow. It's not hitting the right way I want it to hit. Why am I not crying?
Yeah.
Like being very hard on yourself to be like, this edit is not good enough. And I'll say in the past too, there's a lot of projects where we intended for things and we shot it for a 60, but it had to come down to like a 30 or 45. Like even your spec, like originally it was a little longer, but you cut it. And then we're like, okay, you can just tighten things up, right? Like make it better, make it cleaner, make it feel more like a commercial or a documentary if that's your approach.
Yeah.
And so again, being able to really elevate your taste trickles down all the way through, because sometimes you're like, that's just not the right shot. And then making that switch is the right move. And suddenly you're like, I've just proven to myself that me watching new things and other commercials and stuff like that, like now I know where to put things. I know where to put this new transition or this, like, let's slow the pace down a little bit here, right? You know how recap video days are, just like cut.
Yeah.
There's no purpose. You're just like, it should probably cut right now. Or you're cutting it to the beat or whatever, right? It's like, yeah, in commercial filmmaking, the edit is completely from scratch typically. And there's like a process to actually break it down and work with top editors to be like, you know, how to get there. But it starts from just trying and understanding like there's a different approach.
Yeah, and then failing.
And then failing a bunch of times, right?
You got to learn. You got to learn somehow.
Yeah.
Be it the hard way or whatever it is. But you can only really learn by messing up.
Yeah. And like, luckily over time, we've streamlined a system that works for us. And this is the stuff we teach our CPM students, because it's like, you know, there's tricks to the trades, right?
Yeah.
To avoid all the time spent. That's like, I don't also want to go back through my 5 years of like messing up and spending a ton of money.
There's a lot of mistakes you can easily avoid just by knowing about them.
But the bigger thing here, guys, is we're just talking about understanding your brand, right? And like how making the right decisions in your time and how it's spent really trickles down into just being a general better filmmaker. If you're still doing like recaps right now, even watching more commercials will make your recaps better.
It's very true.
That's like the simple fact of it.
Yeah.
So you get a good edit or a bad edit, whatever that might be, can crush you. You move into color. This is almost one of the biggest ones I see. I will not even watch your video
if the color is whack. Yeah.
Straight up. Like that's usually how it goes,
it's
right?
so true.
And then if you say the color's passable, right? Because we also do YouTube as well. If your next one is sound and it sounds like garbage, you're also gone.
Unsalvageable.
Right? It's literally unsalvageable. Like people have said too, and they've done studies on this. Like people are much more likely to watch the full video if the sound is good, but the audio, but the visuals are kind of whatever.
For sure.
Right? But like you flip it and there's bad audio, like people are gonna watch 10 seconds of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even
if it's like the most beautiful shot,
it does not matter.
if I've had this so many times, if like the audio is slightly not synced, I'm like, I can't, this is unwatchable.
Yeah, it's literally unwatchable. yeah. So you could just see the value and the dangers of not having high quality taste across the board.
And then being able to execute on that.
Being able to execute on it. Because if you let a bad edit through, and it's already moving on to color and sound, and maybe this sounds a little bit advanced for you guys if you're not there at that stage yet, totally fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're still editing it and you're coloring it and you're doing the sound on it.
Yeah. Your name is on it.
Your name's on it. And if you let any of those things slip, then you're never going to hit the scale and level of what we're doing. And I'm not using us as a barometer. I'm just saying like we're constantly moving up. And so you always constantly need to be moving up and catching up to people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh man, I'm doing a color session on this and I'm doing sound on this. Yeah, but your idea it's so basic from the beginning and not in a bad way. It's just like maybe you're just not at that place yet. And so it's just like levels of everything. It's like we needed to level up a lot of our production to get at a decent stage, but then we also needed to level up our storytelling. And there was times where we thought our shots were sick,
Yeah.
but then our story just sucked too. And because we weren't paying attention to it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you're always like, I think of these like 5 bars here, right? It's like story, execution on the shoot, which is production, and then edit, color, sound. You need to like try to level all this stuff up in sequence, right? Mm-hmm. And it's okay it's really hard to learn how to do sound, color, edit, all these things at the same time. It's better to do stuff in sequence.
Yeah.
Like, let me get better at understanding story. And then as a team now, or whoever you're working with, how do I get better at the systems of filmmaking, production, making sure it runs smoothly so I can get the right story I want. Once you have those two sorted, you're kind of halfway there. So now you have to make sure that, oh, wait, how do I get a better edit here? Do I need to tighten stuff up? Like, don't be so precious on your shots, right? Sometimes people are like, I shot this shot, it needs to go in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, if it doesn't serve the story and it's just cut it. Yeah. It's over. You have to be very meticulous. Like, will that one shot in there detract from the overall story, right? Because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're going to be stuck forever if you just are trying to slot every single shot.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're like, wait, this is going so fast. This is too much cuts, right? It can go either direction.
Happens very often.
Happens very often, right? And we were just editing one of our own projects, and it was the same thing. It's like, wait, we have too many shots in here.
Yeah.
It's too used of our own style, right? It's like, this deserves more time to breathe and to sit in it. So you always have to service your project first, not your ego of, I know this is a sick shot, but we got to scrap it. It's okay.
Just put it in the back pocket. Use it for something later.
Yeah, put it on a reel somewhere. Who knows,
Yeah.
right? Even though we don't tell you to make it real, but you get
Make
my
a
point.
10-second cut.
Yeah.
Just that shot.
Post it on a story, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get into, so you learn how to do an edit really good and get through those stages. And hopefully down the line, you work with an editor,
Yeah.
right? Or use our systems there. And then for the next one is like color. Color is going to be probably the hardest one. There's a lot of barriers for people. They're like, I don't know how to work with a colorist. Well, like, yeah, you can just start with a really good light. Shout out Set Memory, our LUTs that we made with Cameron Marigold.
Link in the description
Bangers.
below.
Yes, sir. Like, that has been a huge game changer for us.
Yeah.
Because we just throw that LUT on and we know it works because we always use the same LUT to monitor with, which is included, by the way. Because now we don't have any guess game of like what it looks like. We light to the LUT.
Yeah.
And then we know exactly what our commercial looks like because we built it based off of that.
Yeah, and you're not wasting hella time like
Yeah.
making creative decisions on your coloring. Just make
Yeah.
it look good.
Make it look good, especially if you don't have the resources. This
Yeah.
is what my point is. Like sometimes when our budget's too low on a project and we're doing it as a favor or it's just a smaller budget overall, if the client already likes the light, I'm not going like, but wait, there's more.
I gotta bring the blacks down a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Hold on,
yeah.
hold
It's
on.
like, oh, you like it? Perfect. Let's just save time. Let's move on. Take the
Yes.
money, and then we
Yeah.
just do more stuff. If the client's happy, I don't have to oversell myself and make my life more difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
But honestly,
it's-
a worse look if you
it-
take longer.
It might be, honestly. And they're like, it's already due. Like, but wait.
Wait.
My artistic side of me needs to show you this.
Yeah.
Like, no. We have to be efficient as filmmakers, as production companies, whatever, to be like, hey, we're going to use the light. It looks good. Everyone's happy with it. Let's move on because there's more important things. Sound, right? And so back to the whole point, sound is key. Having good audio levels,
Yeah.
balanced, whatever that stuff is. In the beginning, you can kind of get away with like sound a bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like even going back to the color one, like the elevated color version is working with a colorist, right? And then you have someone that can build a look for you and like really dial that stuff in. But on the sound part, sometimes you're just listening on your headphones. You're like, sounds decent, it'll pass.
Yeah.
But then you forget there's like so many levels to this, like balancing the music up and down, the VO, like making it really pop, and then
making creative choices here and there.
exactly
Adding
with
sound
effects, all these
yeah.
little details, and then like a final mix, right? It's like these are things that it takes time. I'm not saying you guys have to learn all this stuff or like find someone immediately that does this.
But you got to be aware of these things.
You need to know it exists. Exactly. So you're just leveling stuff up in sequence.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the end of it, you're like, wait, I have maxed out every level of this, right? I know how to build a great story. I know how to build a really good, strong production with the teams and systems I've built.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to work on a great edit, right? Whether that's with yourself and you have a good foundation, or you work with an editor that like sauces your stuff up.
Yeah.
And then you move into, working with the colors. The whole point here is that we follow a very specific framework. It's called who, not how, right? Something I learned from Russell Brunson that we had been doing naturally, but never really put a good name towards it. And it was, we are finding the right people that can make our work look better. This is the leverage of filmmaking, right? It's the lever that makes you look really good. It's the tenfold approach, y'all.
Whoa.
We make all of our work look 10x better than whatever budget we have.
Tenfold.
This is actually where it came from, right? It's like we were the underdogs. We didn't have everything under our capacity. We didn't have $1 million or an Arri Alexa or whatever these cameras were. We got a $5,000 budget. What do we do here to make it feel like a $50,000 project and start to elevate our branding, to start to rebrand ourselves as like a nimble yet very effective production company?
Yeah.
You can think of it from the outside perspective. Someone sees this company. Wait, there's 4 or 5 people on this project and it looks this good. It looks up to the standard of everyone else. Suddenly things start to match up, right? It's like, these guys, I'm putting them in my back pocket. I want to see where they go. And then if you can continue to prove yourself over and over and over, like, oh yeah, they're consistent. suddenly people are like, yeah, let's give these guys a shot.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the first. It's like the first year of a roller coaster, right? That goes up.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, do I want to risk it? Do I want to be the first one to die on this roller coaster? It's like, no, I'll come back next year. You know, some people don't care though. I know I have some superstitions with this stuff, right? But you know, it's like I'd rather see if it gets stuck around. We're like, what happens with this first? Because if it's the highest roller coaster in the world, I'll check it out later.
Okay.
Crazy reference.
Crazy
idea.
analogy.
Yeah,
Makes
crazy
sense,
analogies.
though.
Yeah, maybe not though, because sometimes I do go on it year one. But yeah, you guys get my point. It's like people don't want to be the first one to test you out.
Yeah.
To test $100,000 project on you. The cool thing is, if we made that $5,000 project feel like $50,000, some other client's going to be like, "Oh, you guys have done a $50,000 project before? That one."
That's the budget. There you
The
go.
cool thing is, it's almost like a taboo for them to ask, right? So they're just going to make assumptions based on how good that product is.
It's very true.
This is the mindset, y'all. This is the tenfold approach.
Yeah.
You have to make your stuff look 1,000 times better than what you have.
1,000-fold.
1,000-fold. It's our next company,
Yeah.
right? Because like I'm being hyperbolic here and like being dramatic, but that is the whole thing.
Yeah.
If you only put out work at the level you're at, you just get stuck there
You don't improve.
forever. You just don't improve, and then you just spiral out forever. So those are the next 5 pillars, right? That was it. It's like level up those things. It's how we did it in our succession. But then if you know who you are and you know how to elevate your standards, really, you can just start to tackle each of these one by one and move closer to where you want to get to.
Okay, that's cool. So what's the last one?
The last one is the most important one.
Mm-hmm.
And without this, you kind of just flop. Doesn't matter how good your spec is, which is kind of surprising for a lot of people because we talk about spec all the time. But it is how you market and brand it afterwards. And ultimately, it's kind of like the whole idea of like, if a tree falls in a forest, does anyone hear it type of thing? It's like, okay, you made this really cool thing, but like if no one even knows it exists, like what's the point?
Did you even make it?
Did you even make it?
Yeah.
Like, it just sits there, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people think they just put out the work and where's my money? Where are all the big jobs? You know, it's
Yeah.
like that's kind of the expectation. There's a bigger thing here, which is you are not owed anything. You have to go out and grab it yourself. But then at the same time, this is quite a long episode.
Yeah.
So we will do a much deeper dive into marketing itself. That's our next episode, actually. And so if you guys are interested in getting the full deep dive on how to market yourself, market specs, and ultimately end this whole chain of like how to actually rebrand yourself, let us know in the comments. Drop the word marketing below.
Marketing in the
and we'll
comments.
drop the next episode, which is pretty much a deep dive of marketing and the importance of it.
Yeah, and you need it. It doesn't
yeah.
matter how good your spec is if you don't market it.
Inbound, outbound, leads, all these different things.
I don't even know what these words mean. I need this episode,
Who knows?
guys. Comment
Yeah.
marketing.
So we've actually talked about a lot of things today, guys, but this is the foundation to get to where you want to go as a filmmaker, to transition from the stuff that you don't want to do, whatever that might be for you, to the place where you've always dreamed about. This is how we got to where we are to do the work that we want to be doing, how we keep consistent with actually growing our business and learning and elevating our skills, right? These are actually all the things that we teach in Cinematic Portfolio Mastery, which we're actually reopening doors for in 2 weeks or so, September 4th. And we teach everything specifically around this. We start in teaching you guys how to elevate your skills, your style, how to find your North Star as a filmmaker, but then ultimately teaching you guys step by step the actual processes into making a spec project happen within an 8-week span. And as a filmmaker, speed is so crucial because you need to be able to test fast, learn fast, and move and market your stuff, right? And so these are all the things that we teach you guys. It's going to be the biggest, truthfully, I would say this for myself, but I think we've changed a lot of filmmaking lives through this space. Moving our students from like 3 to 5K barriers up to like 30K, 35K campaigns now for brands that they actually care about. Things like North Face, all these different brands that, this is ultimately the thing that changes you. So, we've built these systems over the years. We're super excited to share them again. If you guys are interested, we only have 50 spots in this as well. It's application only. So if you are interested, join the waitlist in the comments below. It might be the thing that's going to change your life in filmmaking. And it's the last one we do for 2025. So lock in,
chance.
go into 2026 with some fire, with momentum, knowing how to market yourself. And that's it. We'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, drop marketing in the comments below. We'll see you next one, y'all.
Peace.